Okay, there is the undercoated figure, and as always it's German Camo black brown. Now we're going to start the trousers with, if I can just find it, apologies, with flat earth. There are other brown options for the trousers that you can use, and I'll talk through those when I show you the completed unit at the end. Okay, so we're going to be looking for the folds in the cloth, and that is where we want to leave our shade, our base colour of the German Camo black brown. I'm going to move this figure around to give myself the best approach angle, because basically I just want to be painting lines. Short lines, long lines, and then just bring them all together. And you can achieve that better by moving the figure around so that you're drawing your brush in a natural control kind of way. You see I'm painting in blocks here, looking for the general shape, and I'll bring those blocks together to make the completed shape. To an extent I'll be guided by how the mini is sculpted, but I'm also wanting to get some shadow here. It's quite flat, but I want to put some kind of shadow on the thigh there. So I'm going to keep following around. Making sure that the paint is wet enough to flow off the brush, but not so wet that it flows over the surface. I want it to stick where I'm putting it. And I should point out that I'm only giving it the slightest of contact, only enough for the paint to transfer to the figure. I'm not trying to squash that paint on. Now I need to be careful not to be leaving too much of that undercoat, of that deepest shade, otherwise the end result will just be too dark. Okay, I'm going to come back to here and consider this bit of shade that I've painted down. I just want to reduce it in size just a bit. And there you go, that'll do for the basic colour of the trousers. Excuse me when I clean that brush. So I'm going to use old wood as the highlight colour for the trousers. It's bright enough to be noticeable, but not so bright as to give the neon effect, so to speak, where it glows too much. Oh, excuse my voice, folks. Right, so I'm using a tiny little brush again, and where possible I'm putting the shade colours on top, as in above, putting the highlight colour rather above the shade colour. This is quite a tricky one for me to line up. You can see there, I'm not putting it in the centre of the feature I'm painting. I am placing it so it can sit above the shade, which increases the level of contrast. Basically placing the light right beside the dark, and that'll give greater depth. There are times where there won't be any shade, but I will paint a line because I want to show the back edge of the trouser there. And once again, you just want the paint to just slip off the end of the brush. You'll be able to tell pretty quick if the brush is too dry because it will start to drag, and you don't want that. But there you go, that's the trousers. Next up, the tunic. Once again, there's a number of colours you can use, but we're going to be using green grey as the main colour, and let's get that into shot, excuse me, Splinter Camo base as the highlight colour. Same principles again. We're interested in the shape and the folds of the tunic. Just follow this around first of all. Being careful not to leave too much shade. I always like to do the collar early in the process. I find doing the smaller areas allows you to compensate more easily if you make a mistake. Whereas if you do the larger areas, you might find you've left yourself no space to actually get that collar in the way you wanted it. Now with the webbing here, there's a lot of spaces, a lot of little small spaces, so we need to be careful just to leave enough shade. Kind of did that a bit wonky there, folks, just because of my angle of approach to try and get it all on film. But you know, to fix something like that, if you've gone too much over the webbing, just get your base shade, do a little line, and you're fine. Now what I keep going on, hold on, if I make sure I get this in shot. You don't want to be leaving too much shade back here. Too much shade will just start to swallow up the end result. Now there's a few things going on in the arm here. I notice there's like a buckle on the cuff there, so and lots of little areas, little folds. And you notice I want to try and go over the top of the arm, not just the flat side that's facing you, and also the underside as well. And around the back, I'm probably hiding that with the base, excuse me. Right, let's see. This is another approach you can take, just paint lines. And then join the lines. Brush is getting a bit dry there, you can see, got to freshen it up. Carry that on over the top of the arm. This side's a little bit messy. But it'll do. Right, so highlight. That's the Panzerese Splinter Camo Splinter base. So, using a small brush again, and here, you know, this is where it's really important that the paint is flowing correctly. Try once again, just frame those darker areas as much as possible. I want that paint just to flow off tiny little amounts. It's a really bright colour that will catch the eye, which is what we're after, but we're not after big heavy lines here, folks. Right, the hem of the tunic. And then back onto the tunic. Let's try and make some sense out of this. Round the back of the arm. Once again, you know, wanting to frame the light against the dark. And there you go, you can see it starting to come together now. Just going to move the light a bit here, folks. Right, so webbing, gaiters and such likes. Going back to some of my old reliables, once again, old wood and highlighted with Iraqi sand. Once again, there's alternatives, as you'll see in the reveal. You know, you can change these colours around, as well as using anything that's similar, just literally just swap them around. Tunic colour can become webbing colour and vice versa. So let's just start picking out these features. Just making sure the brush is wet enough, so I'm just adding little touches of water. And back to the palette. You can see a bit of gaiter goes over the top of the bit there. That's needs another little bit. There, I've made a wee mistake. Never mind. It's on the underside, so it's going to be harder to see, but once again you can always fix small mistakes like that, folks. You just need to go back in with a small brush and a little bit of the base colour, the German Camo black brown. Once again, there you see I've made some lines, just joined them up. So I'm just going to go back and give it a quick touch up. This is quite a light colour, so excuse me for more than off shot. sometimes you've got to give it another coat. Oh, definitely gone in too thick there. Right, now we've got 1,000,001 little bits to paint here, folks. So we want there to be definition to all these little pouches, but we don't necessarily want there to be internal shade in it. You notice I'm leaving a shade around the pouches. I'm not trying to leave shade within the pouches themselves, because then it'll just become a total blur of dark lines. You can see he's got a water bottle. And then for the entrenching tool, I'm going around the side of it as well. Once again, we don't want to be leaving too much shade. And I just keep finding all these little pouches. This is a bit of a larger pouch, so I'm going to leave a bit of shade on it. Just because it's set out by itself. Water bottle, the belt. Yep, just get a bit of colour in there. There's quite clearly a lot going on with these guys. But you notice that I'm just using the same colour. I'm not overcomplicating the process by painting the pouches in one colour, the gaiters in another colour. These are all options, obviously, that you can consider, but just think about how much time you're having to put into painting these guys and how complex you want it to get. You can save a bit of time and still get a good result. Okay, now for the highlight. So it's Iraqi sand. And back to the teeny tiny brush. Okay, so let's start with the gaiters. Just trying to catch the shade again. Just use the edge of the brush there. The focus on this camera is a bit weird, folks. It tends to adjust auto focus, but then it kind of wanders off. Right. Just keep working around, trying to keep that highlight colour sitting above any shade colour. Now we're in the more complicated bit, right, so lots of shapes here. But hopefully you can just see this simple little process. Little hair on the end of that brush. And as before, you've got to make sure that the paint is just nicely flowing off it. A thin brush will dry really quickly. And nearly there. Oh, nearly forgot, there's a webbing. Oh, a bit too much there. That paint was actually just a bit wet, but it's fine. It'll do for what we need. So there you go, that's all the webbing and such likes. So next, going to do the helmet and the bazooka. Now, I'm going to actually end up using three colours in this just because it's particular colour. So I'm going to replace the shade coat with US Olive Drab. So I'll just go straight over. You notice there's not a huge difference between the two colours, and there are times where I will use US Olive Drab as my base shade coat. For instance, in my North African colour schemes, because the figures are so, the uniforms are so light. So we'll just work around there. Can't see too much of the handle or firing mechanism, so we won't worry about that. Now as that's drying, I'm quickly going to do the handle of the entrenching tool, and that is, believe it or not, that says German Camo medium brown. There we go. And then we have the boots, so starting with black. That will be our base colour, because we're not going to get a black look or a grey, as you'll see, look to the boots with a dark brown shade colour. It just looks weird. If the figure was armed with a rifle or another weapon like a machine gun or such like, I would apply the black to them at this point. You know, so we're moving through as much as we can, colour by colour. So going back to the entrenching tool, I'm going to give it a highlight of this orange brown, which as you can see is really, really bright. But when used sparingly, once again with a thin brush, when used sparingly, it'll just help make that feature just make it pop, and that's all you need. So, main colour for the helmet is brown violet, which is the same colour I would use for armour. Oops, this is going to need a good shake. It's not actually been open for quite a while, folks. And you'll see the pigment starting to separate. This is a browny green, but that was bright green waiting to come out there, so let's see what I get. Let's see if I can work with that. You know what? It needs a proper shake. Right, there we go. I've given it another shake. The right colour's coming out, but it's also a better consistency. It's a, you know, Vallejo paint comes out the bottle quite thick. That can vary bottle to bottle, but if it's coming out really thin, that means you're mostly getting the sort of like the thinner material, the suspension that the pigment is in, which will give you a glossy finish, and you don't want that. You want as matte a finish as possible. So we're just going to paint it around the rim of the helmet there, leaving a bit of that US drab. That is now our shade colour. I mean, the dark brown would work okay too, but the drab I feel works a bit better with this particular olive brown colour anyway. So I'm not needing to worry too much about these binders, you know, that are going around the tube of the bazooka. I'm more interested at the moment of just getting in between them. Now there's various ways of painting a big long boring bazooka barrel. What I prefer to do is just paint some lines down it. Just like that. Try not to be too symmetrical whilst you're doing it. Maybe paint along the top of the barrel just to help bring it all together. You don't want to look as though it's been painted in two halves. And then as a shade colour, I'm going back to green grey. Actually, that's a little bit wet, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do first. I'm going to finish the boots, and that's just going to be a little bit of German grey. And it's just in the form of a little highlight. There's not really much going on with black boots. That's it really. Right, green grey. Using the same paint I put out to begin with. Now you can use the edge of the brush just to catch the edge of the helmet there. Here we're going to have to paint the edge on. And then once again just a line, very simple, above where the shade is. And then we can spend a bit of time putting some detail onto the bazooka to help give it the shape we're expecting to see. And where I can, I'm just using the edge of the brush, just drawing it along features. Very, very slight contact. torso. Oops, made a mistake there, folks, but it's just the crazy angles I have to paint at. Now remember we made all those little lines along the length of the bazooka. We just want to accentuate them a little bit. Just like that. And there you go. That's the metal areas done, which leaves the flesh to do. And we'll go back to my usual recipe, shall we say. German Camo Pale Brown, that's the base colour. The main colour is Bronze Fleshtone, that's game colour as you can see, but any similar colour will do, as well as Flat Flesh just for highlights. Once again, any similar bright skin type colour will do. So, what can I say for face? Face is where half of it is covered up, can be a bit tricky. But I can still see a nose and a chin and a mouth. So that's still basic shape. And some cheeks, or one cheek even. Right, let's see. So he's got hand there. And hand there, and we're just blocking this in. I've left some internal shade on the face, but that's it. And then you can see that he's got a hand there too. So one hand cupping the other. Oh, excuse me. One hand cupping the other. So now I need the main colour, which is that bronze flesh tone. Oops, that button needs a really good shake. I used it quite recently. Look, this gives you an idea when things aren't going right, folks. See that? That's mainly just the thinner, the medium, you know. It's holding the paint in suspension. If you've got that coming out, don't use it. Right, this has got enough paint. Could do a better mix, but there's enough paint in here for me to do what I need to do. So we're just going to go back over what we've already done. See, that was just dot dot dot, that's all you needed to do there. And then with the fingers, I'm going to try, there we go, there, that's right. You can see fingers on this, hopefully I'll get this at the right angle for you. Just draw the brush up. And then we just need that's too wet, too heavy that. A line going across, a little bit underneath. And then we're just going to make these details pop a bit more with the flat flesh. Okay. Right. Just a little touch on the main features of the face, and then a line down cheekbones. And now the tricky bit. Let's get these fingers on. I'm thinking here, Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer catchphrase. We really want to see those fingers. Okay. If you can hear banging and thumping, I don't know what it is. Not enough paint. me, I'm just trying to use the edge of the brush on the outside there, across the top of those fingers, and there you go. So there you go, folks. There's a Bazooka Man ready for action. As I said, there's several different colours you can use with the Yanks. That's the good thing about the Yanks. There's so many different potential colours. You can really have a nice varied looking army. Right, so we'll get this guy down beside the completed company and see what you think. So there's the completed mini, and as I said, I'll show you a completed company, so you can have a look at the overall look. Now, just sort of panning left to right here, this is the American Infantry box set in the version 3 format, I suppose you want to call it. So you can make a infantry company or an armoured rifle company out of it. Now you can see I've used some twigs, bits of branches that I found lying around, and stuck them on the bases. Adds a nice bit of height to the bases, which I think is something which always adds to the look, and it's quite handy as well if you need to pick them up. They're stuck into little blobs of milliput, by the way. There's not a lot of extra work being done on the bases. They were just stuck in and then painted over. Tiny bit of filler around the edge of the base holes, and then just painted over, so really quite straightforward. Now let's have a look. We've got some different examples. Let's take some more bazooka guys. So here you can see I've reversed the tunic and webbing colours. I've used the same colours as this guy, but in this case the old wood base colour is what's been used for the tunics. And then, you know, you can mess it about, mix it up. We'll see. You can also, you know, have that combination, the two different options on the one base, so that overall it gives a nice sort of, not ragtag, but varied look to the force. And that's something that I myself see in a lot of historical videos of American units. You know, even though they're black and white, you can see there's a lot of different colours in there. And you'll also notice, let's see, get two guys together here, different colour trousers. You can use different browns. In this case, the other brown is highlight German black from the Panzer Aces. But you know, almost any kind of brown will do, as long as it's quite flat. And you can get a nice looking American force. Let's have a wee scan along here. This is the weapons platoon, or mortars and machine guns for the armoured rifle company. This is one of the infantry platoons or elements of the armoured rifle platoons. Same over here. And then enough bazookas to make up what you need for those armoured rifle platoons, the company command, and also there's a blister of the old metal. I'm not sure if these guys are still out there, but metal mortar crewmen. You can see I've used the flat earth brown on those trousers, and then a mixture of different tunic colours. Now I've had these guys sitting around for a long time. I painted them when I had a bit of time on my hands. I would like to get an American force together But we'll see. I'd rather finish my core elements, which is really Soviets and Germans, but the amount of work that's been put into these guys, it would be nice to just get some tanks and half-tracks together. Some anti-tank guns, some 57mm anti-tank guns, some Shermans, some half-tracks, some M10s. It could be done, but we'll see how things go with my many other projects. But there you go, hopefully that'll give you some ideas on how you can paint American GIs for Flames of War. Thanks for watching, folks, and please stay tuned. I'll be adding more videos to this how to paint series.